I'm going to take us through a warm up right now that is mostly full body, but really emphasizes the feet. So you can kick off your shoes for this one and get ready to follow along. So we're going to start in down dog. You're going to push some weight through your hands and toes and really lift your hips up into the air. Once you start to get comfortable in this position, you can alternate pressing a little bit of weight through each heel. You can think of this as like pedaling it out. So pressing down through one heel and then the other to alternate getting a nice stretch through the calf. Then come down onto your knees. You're going to bring one foot forward into this half kneel position. And from here, what you're going to do is take one knee, or your front knee, and drive it forward so that the knee really pushes out beyond the toes while keeping your heel down on the mat. This is going to get you a nice stretch in the ankle, just like so. This is called ankle dorsiflexion. So that ability to bend through the ankle in this direction is really important. You can put your hands on the ground as you do this one and kind of lunge or stretch forward, keeping your knee down, or you can stay a little bit more upright. Press. Good, and just kind of working your way in and out of the stretch a few times. Then you're going to stick your heel out in front of you. So come upright, stick your heel out, and then come forward until your fingertips are on the floor. Or if that's a little too much, you can stay a little more upright, keeping your hands on your thigh. But as you come forward, you'll notice a nice stretch in the back of the leg. You're then going to pump your foot up and down as you hold this stretch. And so as you'll notice, first, as you point your toes, you'll get a nice stretch on the top of the ankle. And then bring them towards you, and you'll get a big stretch across the back of the leg. You might need to bend your knee a little bit to really pull your toes up towards you. They might not come super far. And you can allow your knee to bend a little bit as needed, but try to get a nice stretch through there. Good, and then you're going to move your foot in and out in this position. So like you're wiggling your toes right to left, or not your toes, but really your whole foot. So I'll show from the front view so you can see here, in, out, in, out. So at the ankle. Good. From there, take both your hands and bring them to the inside of that front foot. The hand that's closer to that foot is then going to reach up towards the sky so you get a nice rotation through the spine. Take a couple deep breaths in and out. As you inhale, feel your rib cage expand and fill with air. And then come down and take your elbow and slide it along your shin towards the floor. You might not make it all the way to the floor, and that's okay. Take a couple breaths here. Notice a nice stretch in the upper thigh or groin. And as you inhale, think about breathing into your back pockets to really enhance that stretch. And the next exhale, go ahead and reach up towards the sky again. And then come down a little quicker that time. Good. Gonna bring that leg back and go back into a down dog position. So you can pedal it out again, which means you're alternating pressing each heel down towards the floor. If you stretched your right side that first time, you might notice the right foot having a little more flexibility at this time. You might start to notice it feeling a little better. Then you're going to come down and get into a half kneel position on the other side. And start with that dorsiflexion mobilization, meaning you're bringing your knee forward beyond your toes, but keeping your heel on the ground so you get a nice stretch through the ankle. Again, you can have your hands up top, and you can just kind of press into the stretch and out. In as far as you comfortably can, and out. Good. Now stick your heel out towards in front of you You'll come a little more upright and then come forward to get a nice stretch in the back of the thigh and leg. You'll start to pump your ankle. So first start by pointing it. Notice that nice stretch along the front of the ankle and shin, and then flex it or bring it towards your head. And notice that big stretch along the back of the leg. So point and flex. So pumping the ankle like this with this stretch really helps to get your nervous system kind of gliding and moving and really get some nice blood flow and movement to the foot. After a few of those, you can go side to side. And again, this is that one where you're going kind of rotating the foot inward and outward, but really trying to keep the leg still. So that motion is coming from the ankle as you really scoop the whole foot inward and then scoop it outward. And then come back into that half kneel position. Take both your hands and place them on the inside of that foot. Slide and rotate that top hand so it's pointing towards the sky. Couple deep breaths. Inhale into your abdomen, your back pockets, your rib cage. Feel that expansion. And then as you exhale, slide that elbow down the shin and towards the floor. You can go as far as you comfortably can here. Take a couple deep breaths in. You might, I know on the last set I said feel it in the upper leg or groin. You also might feel this one in the low back, a nice stretch across the back body. So inhale into that area, feel a nice stretch. Then exhale as you press through your hand and reach the other one towards the sky. Come back down. Good. Bring your foot back again so you're on your hands and knees, and we'll go back into a down dog position. Press both heels down towards the ground this time and really press through your hands. So push the floor away with your hands and notice how this really brings your hips up nice and tall. Nice long trunk with this and a big stretch. And then you can come down onto your knees. We're going to do a stretch for the bottom of your feet. So for this one, you want to tuck your toes under and then take a look at your toes. It helps some people to actually pull the big toe out so that your toes are kind of pointing forward on this one. There's a tendency for the big toes to want to point towards your other toes, but if you can line the toes up a little bit so they're pointing forward, and then you're going to walk your hands back nice and slow until you feel a stretch at the bottom of your foot. Now this is going to be different for everyone. You might be feeling a huge stretch already, or you can walk yourself upright until there's a little bit more weight and stretch through the bottom of your feet. Go with what feels good for this one. It can be an intense one, but you want to go nice and easy into it. Make sure your body can relax into the stretch. And over time, as you work on it, it'll start to feel better and better. Bring your hands forward, walk them forward, and then flip your feet so the tops of your feet are on the ground. And you're going to do the same thing now. And come back and stretch the tops of the ankles, the tops of the feet. Come forward again, press up into a downward dog. And what you're going to do now is walk your hands back until you're in this nice forward folded position, as far down as you comfortably can go. You don't have to be all the way to the floor. If you're here, that's fine too. What you might notice though is that with the warm-up we just did, you might feel a little more flexible than you're used to feeling. You're then going to roll up your spine until you get to standing. Okay, so shake it out for a second. Do a couple shoulder rolls because that always feels good. You can kind of rotate your ankle a little bit. I like to kind of sometimes put my toes down or up like this, either way, and just kind of rotate. Get a little bit of motion through the ankle. So we got the feet and ankles moving a little bit. Now we want to do some strength to kind of really support that motion. So you're going to stand with your toes pointing forward. And again, for this one, it sometimes helps to pull the big toe out just a little bit, like so they're pulling your big toes towards each other, so that they're pointing straight forward. And from here, what you're going to do is press down into your toes, especially the big toes, so that you can lift the arch of your foot. So you're pressing down through the toes and also this portion, the ball of your foot, the knuckles there at the base of the toes. You want to kind of push those down and raise the arch of the foot. You should feel the muscles on the underside of your foot activating to kind of pull that arch upward. Now this is a tough one if you don't get it your first try. Don't worry, keep trying. You're just going to hold for a few seconds and release. One little trick for to feel it if you haven't done this before is if you think about kind of screwing your feet into the ground, like you're kind of trying to rotate them outward, your knees going a little out from each other. That can be a little way to help activate the arches of the foot. You don't want to always have to do that. Eventually you can just do that without. But that's a cool way to kind of feel how as you rotate outwards, you might even squeeze your butt and notice how your glute muscles are actually connected with the feet and can kind of help provide that support. Good, take a little break, done enough of those. And what we're gonna do now is go up and down onto your toes, keeping the toes pointed straight forward if you can, as you go straight up and down, straight up and down. If you need to hold on to something for balance, you can. In this situation, we want to work on strength of the calf muscles and getting nice strong leverage through your feet to push you straight up towards the sky. So we don't need to be worrying about balance in this case. Just go up and down and get a nice little pump through your calf muscles. Perfect. Take a break, shake it out. That's it for this warm-up. So hopefully it's got your full body feeling like you've kind of moved a little bit, but especially the feet. Maybe you feel some nice warmth and tingling and some strength down there too.